Hi, friends. It's been so long. I've been so busy. I haven't been able to record these kind of fun alt channel videos, but I'm back because today I had to put on makeup. A photographer just came by from a newspaper. They're doing a story that I'm in. More on that when it comes out. You're going to like it. It's an interesting story. But in the meanwhile, I figure I'm already wearing the makeup. Let's hop on camera, right? So I thought that today I would finally do my review of Solaris by Stanislaw Lem. I loved it. I'll start out with no spoilers. I found this to be a really thoughtful and fascinating book. I was expecting it to be really slow, and honestly, I thought it would be boring. There's actually been 3 films made about it, I think, 2 quite famous, and I haven't seen any of them. But I have heard, this is sci-fi for people who like boring sci-fi. So I kind of thought that the book would also be boring. By the way, I don't know if that's true about the movies. I haven't seen them, but I will now that I've read the book. Anyway, it's not boring. It actually kind of jumps right into the action pretty quickly, and I enjoyed it. There were some parts of the book that I found dragged a little bit. There are parts of the book that are they're basically just describing scientific observations of the planet Solaris. And I did think that dragged a bit. It's world building. It could have been, I don't know, maybe it could have been written in a more interesting manner for me, but it's not a deal breaker. I still really enjoyed it, and I did like that world building in the end. So overall, very positive, highly recommended. I'm going to start getting into spoilers now as I describe the plot a little bit. Oh, one more thing I wanted to mention, that when I got this book at a used bookstore, and I looked at the title page, and it says, translated from the French by Joanna Kilmartin and Steve Cox. And not knowing anything about it, but assuming that Stanislaw Lem was Russian, I guess because of, the most famous film is Russian, I believe. I was like, I thought he was Russian. I guess he was French. Guys, he's neither of those. He was Polish. I'm recording this months after I've read the book and did a deep dive on all of this. I believe he was Polish. And so once I realized this after I finished the book. So then I looked it up, and it turns out first they translated it into French, and then they translated it into English from that French. And it turns out Stanislaw Lem did not like this translation, but this is the translation that's in print everywhere. There is another translation that was directly translated to English from the original Polish, and Lem, I believe, died before that came out, but his family approved of it, for what that's worth. But that one is not in print, and if you want to read it, you have to pirate it. So good luck on that if you want to. I have a hair in my mouth. It's because I'm too close to the fuzzy mic, I think. So he didn't love this translation. Maybe it's even better. Maybe I'd enjoy it even more. He also hated the films, which he thought were basically romance novels set in space, which is not at all what this is. So let's talk about what this is what this do be. So Solaris is a planet that's covered in goo. And humans have spent centuries, maybe decades, a long time trying to figure out if the planet is sentient. But all of their efforts have led to nothing. The planet does seem to be very active, and it forms these things, geological features, as well as rough imitations of man-made tools and things that fall into the ocean, stuff like that. And but humanity, for the most part, is about to write off this planet as useless until our protagonist lands and goes to the station on the planet. And he realizes that of the three people who were stationed, the three men stationed at that station, when he arrives, one is dead and one is locked in a laboratory, never to be seen, and the other one is freaked the hell out. And so here's where we get into spoilers. It turns out that there have been these almost ghostly, but still physical forms of people known to each of the men on the station. There is suddenly, so for the protagonist, his ex-girlfriend shows up. She killed herself when he left her many years in the past. And now here she is acting exactly the way that he remembers, but she seems to have no memory of killing herself or of how she suddenly appeared on this planet. And so begins sort of a mystery of where are these people coming from? What do they have to do with the planet? But if you're looking for something in which everything is spelled out by the end, it's not. By the end of the book, we still don't really know anything more about Solaris or the exact nature of these ghosts from the past. They're not ghosts, they are physical beings, but that's the best word I can think of at the moment to describe them. But we do know more about humanity, and isn't that what sci-fi is for? Hi, puppy. Andy just walked in to say hi. So, I believe, and I mentioned this in one of my main channel YouTube videos, because in a video I made about AI, because I realized that my interpretation of this book is that Lem was holding forth about how when humanity is seeking extraterrestrial intelligence, they're not ever going to find it, because what we are ultimately looking for isn't extraterrestrial intelligence. What we're looking for is a mirror. All we want is for a mirror so we can better understand ourselves, which again, it's very meta when you think about it, because that's kind of what science fiction is. And that's what this book is. And so when we meet a true extraterrestrial alien intelligence, we won't even recognize it because it will be so wildly different from us. And that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for something that is us. We're looking for Star Trek aliens, And so I found it to be a really thoughtful treatise on that. And that's why it resonated with me. I had just finished this, and now, there's all this news about ChatGPT, and that writer from the New York Times who was like, oh, it's in love with me. And it's like, it's not. And you said, are you in love with me? And it said, yes. And that's what you wanted. I think our search for AI is much like Lem considers our search for extraterrestrial life. We're not looking for an artificial intelligence. We're looking for a mirror to tell us more about ourselves. So, highly recommended. Eventually, I will watch the movies and do an update. That said, I know I said that about Knock at the Cabin Door / Cabin at the End of the World, and I still have not watched that. So I apologize, but I'll get on it. There's just so much good television right now, you guys. All right, Succession and Barry are both airing on Sunday nights, and who has the time? All right, so that's Solaris. You know what? I'm going to cut here, but then I'm going to film another book review right after this. So in a day or two, be ready for another book review where I'm wearing the exact same clothes and have the exact same makeup, but it's a different day for you. It's like time travel.